This is not an ideal poultry structure. Ideally, when you're setting up a poultry structure, you have to observe the east-west orientation. The reason is because the sun rises from the east and sets from the west. So normally, if you see this structure, this is just an improvised poultry structure. So if I was to, set up an ideal poultry structure, where you see that full wall there, it's really ideal. So there would have been a full wall from that side, which is the west orientation, and then a full wall from this side, which is the east orientation. But because this is just an improvised poultry structure, we do not have that. I'm going to show you how this place was before it got to this point. Okay, before it got to this point. So I'm going to show you why this is really not ideal for the birds. Now follow me to see what I'm telling you. If you look at these birds now, they are moving away from drinking water because the sun has risen from the east, and so it's directly entering the poultry pen, which is why it's going to disturb the birds from drinking water or feeding because the sun is directly on them. Okay, but like I said, this is an improvised poultry structure. It is better than most people have around here. And thus, if we were to, ideally put up a structure, the whole of this side should have been raised with a full wall. And then the north orientation, which is the one in there, should have been a half wall. Like there would have been no wall at all from the other end of the building. It should have just been just net. Okay, that is the north side, and this south is okay. They would have just been net like this, but towards the end of that structure where we have a full wall, there shouldn't have been a full wall there. But this structure was already in place. We're just improvising. Okay, that is why the east-west orientation is really important because it has to be able or capable of making the birds feel comfortable. So what are we going to do in situation like this? In situation like this, because the birds are moving away from where they're supposed to drink water, like you can see, this bird, they are all moving away from the sun, and temporarily they'll just come and drink because they need water, and they'll just move away immediately. So I have to cover this tarpaulin to reduce the amount of sunlight going into the penthouse. That is what I'm going to do right now. So the birds can be comfortable at least for the meantime. So this is what I'm going to do. I just cover the tarpaulin to temporarily reduce the direct effect of the sunlight on the pen. This is what we're doing. So if you go in now, you realize that the birds are coming back to start drinking water because the amount of sunlight entering into the pen has reduced, which is why properly you have to orient your poultry house properly. Okay, so our birds are 4 weeks now, and they have started using the finisher feed. With the way I feed my birds, at 5 weeks they will be certainly ready for market weight. As at today, they've attended, some of them have attended 1.7 kg weight at week 4. So by week 5, we're expecting them to attend 2.2, 2.3, 2.0 for some. And then we'll just have to take the average, okay? And then by week 6, they should attend 2.85 kg. So we feed our birds properly very well. And so look, you can see this is the right way to properly orient your house. That is the north side of this structure, which is where we have this full build, full wall. Sun rarely or never comes out from that side. It always sets from the east, rise from the east rather, and sets on the west. So when it sets on the west, the full wall is going to block the ray of the sun from coming in. That's towards the evening. But in the morning, it has to rise, and your full wall here has to stop the sun from entering, which is why I'm putting this tarpaulin temporarily until the sun goes off, and then we'll now open it again for cross ventilation. The orientation of this structure is also important, not just for sunlight, but also for the orientation of the wind. The wind blows in this direction as well, and so it's going to afford you proper aeration, ventilation for the birds. So that's that for structure and building.